I gotta say, Harry and Meghan are the gift that just keep on giving, because now they've gotten Jeremy Clarkson into a bit of a pickle. He has written a column for The Sun where he said that he hated the Duchess on a cellular level more than child killers and lefty politicians, and he dreamed of a day when she could be paraded through the streets with people flinging dung at her. Now, obviously, this was all very tongue-in-cheek for anybody who knows Jeremy Clarkson's style, but some people have taken it the wrong way. And now to discuss this with me is from the great Spiked Online magazine, Tom Slater. Tom, tell me about what is going on with this crazy backlash against Jeremy Clarkson and how it is being used as an assault, an excuse to assault free speech.
I think it's become unhinged, James. I mean, you know, the 17,000 ipso complaints. There's been dozens of members of parliament who have written to The Sun on Sunday demanding that nothing like this is ever published again and that a full apology is issued. We've had SNP politicians from Scotland writing to ITV, one of Jeremy Clarkson's employers, demanding that he be sacked. We've reached the point very quickly where the backlash to this column is far worse than anything in the column itself. People are entitled not to like Jeremy Clarkson's style of humour, you know, that kind of private schoolboy pub bore thing. It's not really my bag. But people keep tripping over this line. You can dislike something, you can find it offensive, you can find it in poor taste. What you should not do is demand that it be censored. Yet in time and again, particularly where it comes to Meghan Markle, it's got to be said, even nominal liberals in this country seem to fail that test.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you know, you talk about nominal liberals in your country, but I always thought that making fun of privileged people, of royal personages, whether or not they've still got their titles or not, I can't keep track of it. I always thought that this was the sort of thing, these were the sacred cows that nominal liberals loved to skewer. What has happened here?
They do have a very strange relationship with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in particular. I think they kind of treat them with the level of deference that a royalist 200 years ago would treat the monarchy. It's fascinating because we live in an age of victimhood. If you claim to be a victim, no matter on what spurious grounds, you are kind of sanctified. But you're exactly right. Press freedom in this country and many other countries around the world is built on people who had the temerity to mock royalty, to mock people in high places. Press freedom began in Britain with the end of Crown licensing. We had radicals like John Wilkes who published far more outrageous things about what the King's mother was getting into than what Jeremy Clarkson has said tongue-in-cheek about Meghan Markle. But it seems like because we do live in this age of identity politics, you have supposedly kind of anti-establishment left-wing people essentially agitating for the sake of sparing the blushes of a duchess. That's where we've ended up, unfortunately.
And I mean, isn't it this thing too? I mean, they've put out, Harry and Meghan apparently have put out some other new trailer, some new sort of program where they're talking about innovators, which of course is codename for, you know, various sort of high priests of the woke movement. How much of this is actually kind of a quasi-secular religion where you're not allowed to criticize people who have elevated themselves up the hierarchy of this in the same way that in the old days, Galileo could get in trouble for, you know, saying the wrong thing about the way the sun and the earth revolve together?
I think there's a lot to that. You know, if you claim this mantle of victimhood, if you say the right things, if you mouth the right slogans, that seems to get you a bit of a force field, at least when it comes to public life and the media and so on. But when you're talking about people like Harry and Meghan, their stories had so many holes poked in it at this point. You know, the truth according to Harry and Meghan seems to collide with the truth according to about everyone else all the time. And also, they are ultimately not particularly interesting or intellectual individuals. The fact that there have been so many people who have really been going to bat for them, I think there's a lot of people who will start to slowly back away now, particularly as the Harry and Meghan show just becomes more and more of a circus and as people's patience starts to run out, basically. I think that halo will start to slip a little bit, or at least I hope.
Well, and just very quickly, I mean, they've got a new book coming out, Spare, the Prince Harry memoir. Do we just as free speech people have to accept that we're going to hear a lot of nonsense around that too very quickly?
Oh, definitely. But, you know, that's the point about free speech. People can speak their nonsense. People can offend us. We can argue back. And I'm glad to say there's been a lot of that in recent days with the Netflix thing. And I'm sure we'll see it in response to Spare as well.
Well, thank you so much, Tom, for walking us through this. I just think it is absolutely fascinating how people who, you know, would claim to be free speech in any other decade of human existence are now becoming these absolute prissy, blue-nosed Puritans just because somebody is having a poke at Harry and Meghan in a clearly tongue-in-cheek fashion. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.